There are nights that stay with you, not because of what happened, but because of what almost did. I thought I was just doing a good deed, but by the time I realized something was wrong, it was already too late. It was a rainy Thursday night, and I was driving home after a slow shift at the late-night diner I work at just outside Portland. Even though it had been quiet, I was unusually wired and knew I'd have to take a melatonin if I wanted any chance at falling asleep. My usual route home took me along this scenic back road, beautiful during the day, but pitch black and eerie at night. The streetlights were sparse, and the road was lined with long patches of thick pine forest, broken up only by the occasional mom-and-pop shop or family-run cafe with a flickering neon sign still glowing in the rain. As I passed one of those tiny lots, a corner deli I've driven by 100 times, I saw her. A woman standing alone under one of the few streetlights, soaked head to toe, waving at my car like she was desperate for help. I slowed down, rolled down my window just enough and asked, "You okay? Need a ride?" She nodded quickly and jogged over. "You're a lifesaver, sweetheart," she said, her voice a little too bright for the situation. I popped the passenger door open, and she climbed in without hesitation. She was tall, probably around 6 feet, and painfully thin. Late 50s maybe. Her hair was stringy and dripping wet, clinging to her face, and I noticed a few teeth were missing when she smiled. Still, she seemed harmless. A little odd, sure, but not threatening. I couldn't imagine leaving someone in that weather. She said she just needed a lift into town. That was it. No details. A few minutes later, I pulled into a gas station to fill up. I asked her if she needed anything from inside. She gave me a tight smile and said, "No thanks, honey." I went in, paid for gas, grabbed a couple of hard seltzers for the weekend, and came back out to the car. She was gone. I checked around the lot, even peered into the small alley behind the station. Nothing. It didn't make any sense. I felt a weird mix of guilt and unease, but mostly relief. Something about her had been off. I got home a little while later. My apartment's on the first floor of a 2-family house. The outer door to the building is usually unlocked, but the doors to each apartment stay locked. I let myself in, dropped the seltzers on the counter, and took a melatonin before heading to bed. Even with the melatonin, I had trouble sleeping. I kept thinking about the woman, how she vanished, how she smiled, how weirdly quiet it had gotten in the car with her. At some point, I must have dozed off, but I woke up again in the middle of the night, which never happens. My throat was dry and my head felt foggy. I reached for my water bottle on the nightstand. That's when I saw something, or someone, across the room. In the corner, low to the ground, crouched. I blinked hard. My brain tried to catch up, tried to tell me it was nothing, that I was dreaming. But the figure stood up and silently walked out of my bedroom. I didn't scream. I didn't even breathe. I just sat there in the dark, paralyzed. No footsteps, no doors creaking, just silence. I grabbed my phone and called my dad. He sounded groggy and concerned. I told him what I'd just seen, and he said it was probably a night terror. Maybe, but I'd never had one before. Still on the phone with him, I slowly crept out of the bedroom and turned on the living room light. Empty. I checked every closet, every corner. Nothing. No sign of anyone. I locked my bedroom door before trying to sleep again, but I don't think I got more than an hour. The next morning, I felt groggy but pushed myself to get ready for the gym. I opened the door to the hallway outside my unit, and it was already unlocked. My heart dropped. I checked the locks on my apartment door. Fine, secure. But the foyer? Someone could have slipped in. Had I left it unlocked? Then I went out to my car, opened the back door to toss in my gym bag, and froze. The blanket I always keep in the back seat was gone. The floor mats were soaked and stained yellow-brown, like someone had been sleeping back there, like someone had climbed out of that back seat the night before. I called my dad again, completely panicked. He said, unless anything was stolen, the cops probably wouldn't do much. I checked everything inside. Nothing was missing. Just the blanket. Just her. I skipped the gym that day. In fact, I barely left my apartment for the next week. I don't know how she got in. Maybe the outer door really was unlocked. Maybe she had some way of opening it. Either way, I broke my lease the next month. I've moved since then. I always double-check my locks now. And I never pick up hitchhikers. No matter how harmless they look in the rain,